Well, let's bring him into the Punch podcast. He's back. It's always great to chat to NIKITA TSZYU. And I mean, a fireside. This is a little romantic.
The candles are inside actually, so
Go get them.
what's
It's much nicer than the last episode. We had Carlos on your lap snoring, your dog the entire time. So appreciate that. That's good.
yeah, there are my grandparents at the moment. We're having a bit of a little detox before my fight. We've started doing this for the last few fights, just kind of like getting away from the comforts, and it kind of zones you in to. Usually, I'd be going to a hotel, but I wanted to stay home this time around. I feel more comfortable here, but I still have like that little emptiness being by myself, and that's zoning me in.
You can sort of get that as well just by making a fire, which we can see beside you. Hey, just like building it and just sort of switching off and just playing with it. And heaven forbid anyone would ever think you'd like to burn things.
Yeah, well, this isn't just a fire; it's cooking my chicken.
Oh, Jesus. Look out.
I've got my dinner cooking here.
Yeah,
We've
right.
it's been smoking. I've got fight chef Omar here, who's been helping me during fight week,
Yeah.
and he's prepared this dish.
Well, I actually was going to say, was that Omar Approved? But I guess, look, he's to your left. You're right. He absolutely is. I was like, is that weighed out? Is that good to go? But
I kind of taught him the recipe or this kind of technique, but he's put his own flavor and own touch into it. He's added a bunch of spices and different flavors. So I'm very excited for this. I'm usually just salt and wood.
that's always great for cutting weight. Always perfect.
Mhm.
How you feeling? Only a few days to go, and the Horden Pavilion in Sydney on main event and KO as well, as where you can watch NIKITA TSZYU in action against Danilo Creati as well. You're back in the ring for the first time in 2024, and it's, to be honest, it's great to see you on not only an event but an awesome card as well.
Yeah, it's. I wish we could have had something going a little bit earlier in the year, but at least we're getting it going now. It's going to be huge. Four title fights, and yeah, kind of like the return of Mateo Tapia in the Australian scene. So it's going to be epic.
When were you planning to be fighting? When did you think it was going to be?
I initially had plans of fighting on the Wilson Valdez undercard,
Yeah.
and that fell through as it was a day before Tim's fight. So when Tim's fight got fully announced that it was on the 20, whatever the day was, 30th or 20th and 29th, that fight kind of got sucked out of the picture.
Which I assume was your first international opponent.
Yeah, it would have been, but this is what comes with the sport. It is what it is. Uh, I've got a whole lifetime to get international opponents.
Yeah. And obviously, we've seen the hit list floating around as well. And one of those you're going to face on Wednesday night. The others we'll get through as well at some point in this chat, no doubt. But Danilo Creati, last time I saw him fight was No Limit on Fox. He wasn't too bad. There was that draw, but against Zarafa in particular, he was very much on the back foot. His camp about cutting off the ring this time and working on a different skill where I guess you have had a few brawlers come at you.
Yeah, like he's been known in the past to be very evasive and like kind of people call it running, but I don't feel like he's going to be like that. I get this sense that he's going to come out guns blazing and try and brawl with me.
The last fight was a 10 rounder. This one scheduled for 10. Are we going that far? I guess you'd probably want those rounds, but I've asked you before. It's like if you see the opportunity, then you take it. That's the rules in Team Zoo.
Yeah, like we're prepared for 10 rounds, but look, if I get an early mark, I'm taking it. If I see an early mark opportunity, I'm gonna go home and get some pizza in me as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, I can see you've obviously been cooking up a storm behind you. I guess it's those bad foods that you miss as well. We heard about the steak and the pineapple. I mean, that was great as well. And you're just getting a little bit creative. What have you been doing in this camp? Obviously, you guys do operate in a very similar way every camp and just sort of roll through the motions. But for someone that is an elusive fighter, do you get sparring that is elusive as far as chasing him around the ring? Like that is a thing because he does say he's going to come at you, but I actually don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, so the main bulk of this preparation has been in America, and we're sparring a lot of kind of like the Philly shell style, very defensive style fighters. So I've got a lot of rounds with that particular style, But when we came back to Sydney, we got a bunch of amateur fighters that have like a textbook style that kind of mimic his kind of height and reach, and like height, reach, and length, and they're kind of going to be boxing. So we've been preparing for an outside fighter that also kind of will have bursts of coming forward. Because he does move around backwards a lot, but he also comes forward at times.
Yeah.
And he also kind of he has little bursts of aggression.
Well, look, you've had people that have tried all the things before. There's been 8 of them yet to crack the NIKITA TSZYU code. So we'll see what Creati brings for you. But let's turn to this hit list, because there was 4 fights for 2024 rumored to be on there, and we've spoken about those being Koa Mazudia, Wade Ryan, Brock Jarvis. Do you have a dream order? Obviously, you're not picking these. Someone else is. But who's the crescendo for those guys?
Well, I'm gonna make a small assumption based on the presence of Brock Jarvis at the open workouts. I'm assuming No Limit are gonna try and go for him first.
Yep.
It just kind of makes sense in my head. I think it would make sense in everyone else's head. And then I couldn't really care less who would go next.
Line him up. He did get the shits with you for saying that you're going to knock him out quicker than Paro. He's not too happy. How was it when you saw him? Because from what I saw on TV with the open workouts, it was a little Orcs.
We actually didn't look at each other at all. Like, I was trying to look at him, but we never really got the chance to make eye contact. So I didn't get any awkward senses, or
Yeah.
I would have loved to have made some eye contact.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I think last press conference, might have said to you something about who's next. Obviously, everyone does ask that for you. That's probably the first question. However, we always have believed that you're almost out of Australian opponents, but then to see all 4 of these on paper, they're actually not bad fights, to be honest with you. Especially Wade Ryan. I just realized his last fight was Takeshi Inoue.
Yeah, so the fact that people keep thinking that I'm out of Australian opponents, I don't feel like that's anywhere close. Like, there's still a lot more to be done in Australia, and we're getting through them piece by piece. I haven't just because I got the Australian title doesn't mean I've conquered the division yet.
Yeah.
You have to have beaten all the big names.
I think we're impatient to see you go internationally.
Yeah, we're impatient, but you also got to build the story up.
Yeah.
You got to build the experience. In order to conquer the world, you have to conquer your homeland first.
When you're in America training with Tim and getting him ready and everything else that went with that, the sparring that you just spoke of, does that make you want to delay your time in sense of build that story more, like you say? Because in my head, I would have went, you're just like, get me back there. This is awesome. I'm around Vegas. I'm around the big stuff. Get me back here as quick as I can. But after you came back, I'm seeing 4 new Aussie names. So I'm like,
no, I'm excited for the moment that we get to break into the American shores and to the international shores, because I felt very comfortable with international sparring partners, and it motivates me that much more to be able to finish the business that we have in Australia, to be able to go to the next destination.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's soon, I guess. But you'll see that you've got that lineup that we spoke of. Brock Jarvis, Wade Ryan, Cohen's good, but I've always been waiting for you internationally as well to cross those international opponents that Tim's had. I guess in a way, I thought he'd probably be one of the smarter moves for the story that you say we're building. He's just fought Wade Ryan and got a draw as well. So, I mean, he would probably be someone that I'm going to. Has that name ever come up?
You also got to remember that I'm 8 fights in, and Tim fought in a way at what, 20?
Yeah, but I think you beat Wade Ryan, and he just had a draw with him. That's where I go.
Yeah, I know. But everyone's got to cool their horses a little bit.
All right.
It's only my second year. I'm in year 3 now. Just started year 3. Chill your jets, guys. We got a story to build. The journey is more important than the destination.
Absolutely. Look, you are doing very well on these shows. You're getting a lot of bums on seats as well, and a lot of people checking it out on telly. So I guess your fan base is building. And does that drive you when you're getting in the ring and everything else around it? I know you're focused on what you do, but I guess there's that you're going down to events now and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I mean, I think one of your first press conferences at the Horton, there was like 3 media, maybe 4, and I was one of them. And now good luck even getting close to you at those fights.
It's like a huge blessing because the support of the Australian people, it means everything. The moment that I break through the international scene, I want to be able to have an army behind me, and kind of like how McGregor had the nation of Ireland behind him.
Yeah.
I'd love that with the Aussies. I love all the crazy Aussies to come, to fly out to Vegas and just take over the city. That's kind of like a dream, and slowly getting there piece by piece.
Did it feel like that when you were over there with Tim's, when you walk down the street and you do see either Team Zoo shirts or just Aussies in general or anything like that? That I guess A, the Zoo name, but B, Australian boxing as well is still alive in Vegas.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. It's pretty crazy the turnout for that for Tim's fights. The amount of people that there were, it was basically, it looked like a sellout. Like, obviously, it wasn't a full sellout, but I remember looking around the stadium and just couldn't see an empty seat. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get that one back happening again pretty soon. Obviously, no word on that, but I'll happily take an exclusive from Inside Camp Zoo as well. If you want to drop one of those zingers on me, I'm sure you wouldn't get a call from management.
Yeah, you got to ask Glenn for that kind of juicy information.
Yeah. But you mentioned also before training in Thailand. I know you went over there before Vegas as well. You went over by yourself on that one too, didn't you?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I went by
How was
myself.
that?
It's my third trip in Thailand. Third trip? Yeah, I think third time there.
Yeah.
It's nice being there by yourself as well. The first time I went over was with my uncle, trying to kind of like getting to know the places. He helped me get acquainted with Tim's kind of connections and the relationships Tim's made with people in Thailand, the coaches. And once I got to know them, now I go there before any of my fights,
Yeah.
and it's like a second home. It has the beauties of my place right now, but just like zero distractions. There's something about Thailand where you're just so zoned into just your body, yourself. The street that I live on has everything you need. It has massage parlors, has food, has the gym. That's all you need, and you're just living in a little repetitive cycle.
I watched a little video the other day on YouTube of someone touring I guess it's almost like a whole hub, isn't it? Of a whole bunch of different gyms and all the,
Mhm.
like you said, the right foods and everything is there. I guess that's probably why you say you can focus because people only go there to do that in that part. Obviously, there is Patong and
Mm.
that gets a little loose, but yes.
Yeah, the culture behind it, seeing very like-minded people that are there for kind of like wellness in a way.
Yeah.
It's motivating, and you're around a lot of like MMA fighters, Muay Thai fighters that they're just hungry to be able to succeed, and it drives you even further. It's I find it's the perfect pre-camp because it zones you into this. It gives you like that. It like reaffirms this like meaning of like why you're doing this. It's like you're doing this to succeed. You're doing this to be better, and you see that all around. Yes, there is the partying, and
Yeah.
not everyone that goes there to train is also just trying to be fully fit. They go out partying. It is what it is, but I mean I'm in complete focus there.
Yeah, I always think about that with boxing gyms in particular, and probably none more than yours in the Zoo Academy. I guess that you must feel like it's a place that's so special when you are training there. Like you've got a reason to fight when you're in that, given the history of that room that you train in,
Mm.
and the heritage. I mean, I've a whole life that you don't realize.
Yeah, it's we've had the gym. My dad's had the gym before I was even born, so
Yeah.
this place has been just a second home to me,
Yeah.
and it's been like a a solid foundation throughout my whole life. We've moved around houses, we moved different area codes throughout my childhood, but that gym has always stayed there.
Yeah.
It's gone through a bunch of transformations, it's gone through a bunch of different looks, different evolutions, but the core of it's still there. And it's a beautiful feeling walking up those stairs every single day and getting your ass beaten by a coach upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, well, I heard you speaking the other day about when Tim put you on the early session as well. So I can imagine what that day was felt like as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
The walk down the stairs was tough.
but even the walls, like I've seen videos of when your dad was training there and you guys are like ultra small, like, and it does look remotely similar. Well, I guess that's the cool part, I guess, from I guess a fan and I guess someone that loves the legacy of what you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
How's the chicken, by the way?
Beautiful place. Yeah. Omar, I reckon the chicken's ready. It's, we got priorities. Chicken's number one.
Mate, I get it. You're getting ready for a fight, Nikita. You do what you got to do.
Look at this beauty. Can you see? We got some bone marrow as well cooking.
What is that? What do you do with that?
Eat it.
What do you take you 3 days?
Yeah, that's the best thing to eat when you're cutting weight because that have a lot of protein and fat. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there actual meat on it though, or is it just because you got to try and get it out through the bone, right?
No, it's all just bones. Just the inside of bones.
That's why your dogs
let me
are so fit.
drop this. Yeah, well, actually, I give it to my dogs when I'm feeling generous, but they're a little expensive for the dogs all the time.
Absolutely.
I usually eat them and then I give them the remains and they froth and fight over it like little gladiators.
Show me a boxing show on YouTube that had that exclusive. No one getting bone marrow chat. No one's getting bone marrow chat.
Bone marrow.
Warm where you are because it's freezing tonight. I had there's no chance you were going to be outside, I thought, but here we are. Same place as the last episode. And just so you know as well, the last time you were on, you might have remembered because you shared it, but your episode was the #1 on Spotify for the year for the Punch podcast. And
I remember. Yeah, I remember you showed it to me.
Yeah. So I mean,
what a blessing.
This one's got a lot to live up to. You're going back to back, right?
Look at that, but hopefully the flames help.
Yes. That's how we get it up there.
Every time I keep like hitting, like touching the back of my head, it's not just like a reflex. It's the fire is like burning my head and I'm kind of like cooling it down, by the way.
If we want views, catch on fire. That'd be great. That'd be good.
If I have a bold patch, you know where it came from.
I get the exclusive. Love it. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you back in the ring. It's always great. And obviously we'll catch up right across the whole year because you've got a whole lot planned. It's the start of a big one for you. What would the end of 23, shit, it's getting on, 24 look like to when you go successful year? What does that look like for you when you go, right, I did what I wanted to
do? I guess we're going for regionals after that.
Yeah.
Next step, it's more growth and more bones.
More bones. Good stuff. Well, before there's a fire truck at your place, we're going to wrap this up. And appreciate your time once again. Thanks for stopping by the Punch Podcast, Nikita TSZYU. I'll see you there at the Horton. And mate, I look to see you do the business once again.
Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and you make it such a easy flowing conveation.
Lovely.
So
That's what we do. Good stuff, mate. Looking forward to it. And look, you get to do it on the day before a public holiday as well. So bring that on.
Everyone get down and get pissed. Get ready for it.
There you go. Bone marrow for all.
Awesome.
Marrow because it's expensive. Thanks, Nikita.
Thank you. See ya.